Today we're going to make a very useful paint gun using just a ballpoint pen. It's already in use. It's going to be a great paint gun, even better than the very expensive ones. We're going to use an old fridge compressor as a compressor. I need the ballpoint pen to make this paint base. I remove the tip inside by removing the back cover of the ballpoint pen. I won't need the tip behind. I'm just going to use the exterior of the ballpoint pen. For the rest of the video to explain easily, I will again refer to the outside of this ballpoint pen as a ballpoint pen. I drill a hole on this ballpoint pen. I'm using a hot soldering iron to test the hole. After the hole testing process is done, I compress the tango and I scrape off the excess on it with the help of pliers. I need the thin piece for the environment. I'm going to use a piece of IV tubing that I have on hand instead of this hose, which is used in hospitals. I'm positioning this hose in such a way that it will reach from the hole I just drilled on the permanent pen to the tip of the pen. This tube will go all the way to the tip of the pen. When it gets to the very tip of the pen, we'll pull it back just a millimeter, because if it's completely sealed, there won't be a nice paint fit here. And our paint gun will not work. We can adjust the thinness and thickness of the paint by widening and narrowing the gap. So if that gap was too narrow, if it happens, he throws thin paint. If we pull back a bit more, in other words, if we widen the gap there, it gets thicker. After doing this process, I use electrical tape to close the gaps and the edge of the hose. You can also apply hot silicone there, but I think it's not that important, so I think just covering it with electrical tape will be enough. After the process, I need a paint cans. I will use the Play-Doh box that kids play with for the game box. I take out the dough and clean the inside nicely with a cloth. There should be no residue left inside. Then I'm drilling a hole on the lid of the Play-Doh box. I'm inserting the tube of the pen I prepared into the holes I drilled on the Play-Doh lid. I'm placing the content from the novelty. I'm going to use cable length to secure it. I am drilling 2 holes on the lid of the Play-Doh box to install the cable tie. Pass the cable tie from here and secure the pen nicely. I will say, there's another way to fix this pen. There will surely be friends who would say you could have. You might think that paint will come out of those holes, but I have fixed it with another method. I had to drill holes on this lid, because if I don't drill holes here, there will be no paint outlet because no air enters. If I had thought of securing it in another way, I would have drilled another hole on it. I applied this method because I thought it was easier this way. Now I'm making another hole on the ballpoint pen. This hole needs to be big enough for me to cover with my finger. We'll use this hole as a trigger. When we cover it with our finger, it will throw paint. When we pull it with our finger, it will stop throwing paint. We will use it like a trigger. Yes, we finished our paint gun. Now I am connecting an old refrigerator compressor. I need to short circuit the thermostat to run this compressor. After short-circuiting the thermistor buttons, I will connect it to 220 V and start the compressor. After making the compressor connection, I attach a hose to the compressor. I am attaching this hose to the paint gun that I have prepared. Everything is ready now. I brought a control plate to paint with the compressor. You know, it's a bit hard to paint plywood because it absorbs the paint immediately when it is dry. But in this way, I will be able to paint very comfortably. I put the paint can inside the Play-Doh box. You must have noticed when filling the paint is not a beautiful paint at all. Because it got air, it has become lumpy. But it doesn't matter. No, this paint gun definitely doesn't clog and continues to paint beautifully, guys. With this paint gun, you can paint both iron and black. You can easily use it as wall paint as well. You definitely can't use the paint I'm using now in expensive paint guns, because they get blocked immediately and keep you busy for a while. Now, I start the painting process by attaching the Play-Doh container to its lid. As you can see, I am painting very comfortably. Even though the plywood is very dry, it's still very dry. Or it closes very beautifully. Normally, it's very hard to cover it like this. If you want, you can also make the paint thinner. As I said, if you push the environment inside a little bit forward. If you pull back a bit, it paints thicker. If you go closer, it paints thinner. Of course, because if you put better paint, you get better results. When I open the hole I drilled on the ballpoint pen, the paint gun stops painting. Because air is getting out from there. If I press the trigger again, I can continue painting beautifully. Look, it's pretty good. That's all for this video, friends. I hope it has been a video you liked. Don't forget to press the like button if you liked the video, friends. So, ik kon send the results. See you in the next video. Goodbye.